Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing tonight? It is 3:29 a.m. and I just woke up not too long ago. So needless to say, this might not be a really long vlog. I have no idea how long it'll be. Honestly, I didn't plan to sleep. I was just gonna lay down for like an hour. I didn't plan on sleeping until 3 o'clock in the morning. I got up about a half an hour ago, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was gonna actually try to vlog earlier today, but I was just going and going and going all day today. I have 2 coffees because I need that at 3:30 in the morning. I have my regular coffee from Starbucks, which is only like, I've only drank like a fourth of it. And then I reviewed the pink velvet macchiato from, it's not so pink. It kind of looks pink in here. It kind of looks like, maybe not so pink. I don't know. Pinkish chocolate brown now. But, oh my God, there's still like some ice cubes in there because it's so cold that are, I did this a long time ago. The pink velvet macchiato from Dunkin' Donuts, which I reviewed on my review channel today, so go check it out. So I have these 2 drinks, and then I have my water over here, which is empty, which of course I have these 2 drinks and now I'm craving water. But yeah, so Friday, I made a video on every single one of my channels. Did I do a review video? Yeah, I did the not the makeup, the skincare stuff. And then, today I did 5 videos, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like so excited I got videos up on all of my channels. I tend to find though that like, well, part of what happens is I don't get started until later in the day. And so then my videos, some of them don't even get up till like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and then people don't see them, I don't think, come up as far as notifications and stuff. So when I tend to post more videos like across the board, they don't get as many views because I think it's a lot for people to watch that late at night, you know? So like on days that I'm gonna post a lot of videos like that, I probably need to get up earlier. And I haven't even decided yet if tomorrow I'm gonna like film videos. I was gonna, so after I got done vlogging, well, my plan was to go vlogging earlier. Obviously not. I haven't done a 3:30 in the morning vlog in a while. It's been like a couple weeks, hasn't it? A week or 2. I mean, maybe 1 here or there, but I haven't been laying down as late at night as I was for a while. So I was gonna go, because I have to go to Meijer and Walmart and get some things. So I was gonna do like a late night Meijer and Walmart haul for my review channel, and then I was gonna put that up tomorrow. I don't know that that's gonna get done now, but because it is so late at night, but there are things that I actually need. I have a list in my phone of things I've got to go get. Just boring stuff like deodorant, razors. But there are some other things I'll probably buy if I'm in there. What was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say, I don't know if I'm gonna post videos tomorrow or not though, because it's the Super Bowl, and I know that people have like Super Bowl parties and whatever. If it weren't for us going over to Melissa and Jason's house, I don't think that we would do anything with the Super Bowl tomorrow. I could completely care less, and I know that Alex does too. I didn't even know until today when I was doing my video on my drama channel that who was playing. So I could, and that's just me. I mean, like, you know, there are other people that could care less, you know, who's nominated for an Academy Award, but I enjoy that stuff. So, you know, to each his own, I guess. But, I mean, I don't plan on watching any of the football game. I'll probably watch the halftime show. Who is it? It's Jennifer Lopez, and it's not, Shakira, is it? I can't remember who the other person is. It's like 2 people. It'll be good though if it's Jennifer Lopez. Man, she looks incredible for her age. You know, I said that on a video, and somebody said, she doesn't look incredible for her age, she looks incredible. And I agree with that statement, you know? And first of all, I don't know what 50 looks like, I guess. I guess it's just something that we say, you know, doesn't she look good for her age? I mean, I'm 47. I'm not bouncing around on a stage, you know. Her body is intense, but her body, her body is intense for a 30-year-old. You know what I mean? So she just seems really like non-problematic, doesn't she? Like really nice and kind of just stays out of everything. Like I just think that she seems so nice. I like her. I really like Jennifer Lopez, but you know what? Like she's not somebody that, like it's weird. Like I'm kind of really, like I like her, but I'm kind of indifferent to her. Like if tomorrow, like Jennifer Lopez never made another movie and never put out another album and I just completely forgot about her, which was probably what would happen, I wouldn't be like I wouldn't be just distraught over it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there are people that, like, if tomorrow they never did, I'm trying to think of somebody, like, in pop culture, that if they never did something again, it's always kind of strange people that, like, I get the, like, okay, like, it was always one of my dreams to see Avicii live, the DJ, and the last year that he was booked for Ultra, and we had other opportunities too, like in Las Vegas and things like that, but I wanted to see him like in a big setting like that. I had never seen him, period. And, or did I? I feel like I saw him somewhere between that Ultra and somewhere else, but it was because he was so sick and nobody, I mean, like there were rumors of it, but, like he was supposed to do this whole thing at this like SLS hotel that they had turned into like the Avicii hotel, and I got a t-shirt that said like Avicii on it. It's like silver and white, it's like real shiny, and it has his face. Does it have his face on it, or does it just say Avicii across from it? I don't know. But then he like canceled that year, and it was like a huge deal, and then he passed away. And now when I hear his music, I just, like, I love his music. You know, Deborah Winger was somebody for me for a long time. I know she's doing some TV show called The Ranch or something on Netflix, but, I mean, I loved her movies when I was growing up. And it's not like she did tons and tons of movies, but I loved Terms of Endearment, obviously. And she was in a movie with Teresa Russell called Black Widow. That was fantastic. I loved that movie. What was another Deborah Winger movie? Well, she did a couple. And, Holly Hunter is somebody that you don't really hear from a whole lot anymore, you know? I'm a huge Holly Hunter fan. I watched that Saving Grace TV show every single episode, and like her movies and everything. Like I love Holly Hunter. You don't really hear much about her anymore. Sissy Spacek very rarely does any kind of, I would like to see Sissy Spacek on American Horror Story, especially since she did like Carrie, and she's done, you know, movies with Jessica Lange, and, you know, I would love to see Sissy Spacek on an episode of American Horror Story. What am I even talking about? I don't even know. So I got real emotional when I got in my car tonight, because I was sitting in the driveway. And I turned on my car, and I haven't picked another audiobook yet, so when my car starts up, like, it goes right to my iTunes, and it started playing, why can't I think of her name? Stephanie Mills, I Never Knew Love Like This Before, and, you know that song? Never knew, that one. Never knew love like this before. Open my eyes, cause I love that song so much. But anyway, They did that on an episode of Pose, if you haven't seen it, by the way. And it was fantastic. It was how a character leaves the show. And it was the exit of a show. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but I was sitting there in the driveway, and I had been texting Tanya earlier. Tanya's on a girls trip in Nashville this weekend with the friend that I talk about, that she's really close, like they were close as couples. So it's her, and then like one of her daughters, and then Tanya and this girl that works with Tanya. Like the four of them went to Nashville this weekend, just for like a 2-night girls trip, and they like got an Airbnb and stuff. But Sunday, when you were watching this, is Tanya's 24th sobriety birthday. Yay! Happy birthday, Tanya. Happy birthday, Tanya. And I was sitting in the driveway, and so I texted her. And even though it was so late, I texted her because they were going out tonight, and I knew that. So I was thinking that they were probably just getting in, but Tanya never stays out that super late, even when she's out of town. And I just started getting so emotional, like as I was listening to that song when I was driving away. You know, it's like, well, I had weird dreams tonight too. I'll have to tell you about that in a second, but you know, I don't know what I expected my life to look like when I got sober. I think it was bunny cakes. I've read all the comments up to date as of right now, up to the minute. I think it was bunny cakes that said that you guys understand that I don't want to always tell like the tragic stories, but the tragic stories are inspiring too, and I get that. You know, it's like, I mean, I totally do understand that. Just some of the stories are hard for me to like relive and remember. And in all honesty, the stories that, I mean, I don't even do it, you guys, in the rooms of sobriety. Like, I don't even, like, in my lead, you know, or whatever, just go and tell. Like, some of these things, they're too much, right? Like, there are things I talk about with, like, my mom's drinking. You know, I talk about the fact that, what was it on here, or was it my Peterson's video the other day, where I kind of like talked about it like pretty, like for me, it felt emotionally deep, where I talked about like, I think it was my Peterson's video, where like I had to put her to bed and pour down alcohol, make sure the house was locked up, you know, make sure the outside, you know, the floodlights were on in the backyard, and, you know, make sure that all the doors inside and out were bolted and double bolted, and it's a lot for a kid, you know. I think I did more than my mom even knew I did at times, because she was, you know, didn't remember a lot. And that wasn't every night, you know, like that's important. Like that might be one night a week, or that might be 2 nights a week, but it was enough. But there are some horrific incidents that happened. You know, my mother never physically abused me, never anything like, you know, no kind of abuse like that. But, you know, I mean, I guess you could call it kind of like emotional abuse to some degree with the drinking and stuff. But there were some really horrible situations that happened, you know, that I don't talk about on video, that are just real painful to relive. One of the situations that happened when I wasn't even there. And I just found out I just knew because my mom told me later. Not like when I was a kid, but when I grew up, she told me of a situation that had happened, you know, by herself in the house when she was drinking. And, but there's just some things that I don't care to relive. I don't, and it's, you know, I've talked about them in therapy. I've talked about them with my sponsor. You know, there's been, I mean, I was in 2 relationships that just were not great, you know? I don't share everything about those on here out of, you know, protection for those people. And it was interesting because, when was it? I talked to my ex, like, I think I even said it on here that I had talked to him. It was around the holidays. It was just out of the blue that he texted me. It was so weird. It was a couple months ago. I don't know. But, like, we just had this back and forth. And, so he said something to me that made it aware that he knew what I was doing with, like, making videos and stuff. I mean, we've never had that conversation. I sent him one video of the pink tutu story on my Peter Monn channel because he was part of that story that happened, and I knew that he would get a kick out of it, and that was a long time ago. And he really hadn't. Like, he's never said anything since. And I was like, and so we were texting, and I said, do people ever bother you? Like, because, you know, I mean, I've made it pretty clear on here that, that my family and friends have been, like, harassed and stuff. And so I was like, you know, if people have ever bothered you, I'm really sorry or whatever. And he was like, no, I've never had anybody bother me. And I'm like, well, I was like, you know, just say, because I know that they know who he is, like the people that have harassed me from back in the day. I don't want to know anything about what people's opinions or, you know, all that stuff is for me, on the gossip things, but I don't really care anymore. But I do know from back in the day, because people would read them and then they would tell me what was on there, that they, you know, I know that they knew who he was and all this kind of stuff. And, which is so intrusive, you know, that somebody would go in and then seek somebody out and then put their name on there. Somebody I haven't been with in, you know, 10 years, over 10 years, right? Like, that is intrusive. It just really is to somebody's life. So he was like, no, they haven't. He was like, but what would I have? I mean, what would I tell him? He was like, you were a fantastic boyfriend and we fell out of love and we didn't make it, you know? And I was like, weird hearing that from him. And he's like, I kind of forgot, like, how kind of cutthroat he is, that, you know, if, like, somebody were to, like, come and harass him, he would, like, nip it in the butt real quick, or absolutely pay it into mind. He could care less, you know? I mean, I think he knows me well enough to know, too, that the stories that I share on here are stories that were, like, the good times of he and I together, you know? Because this guy's, like, hitchhiking on the corner in, like, Broderville, Indiana. I mean, like, I know that if I said to him, like, do you want to do a video with me, you know, called, like, you know, like, something with my ex, a Q&A or whatever, he would totally probably do it. Except that he's so, like, social media, like, he's just not on it. Like, he is, but he's not active on social media at all. I think he even said that to me that day. He was like, I said something to him about something to do with, like, Facebook of one of our friends or something. What were we talking about? Because I said something about Scotty passing away. But it wasn't at that time, because we did talk at that time too. It is what it is. I think people, it's always more interesting if there's, like, some huge story, you know, if there's some huge, like, horrible thing to it or whatever, you know? Like, the reality is, if you think I'm boring and normal now, I was 100 times more boring and normal with him. I mean, all we ever really did was, we would go to Best Buy on the weekends, and we would buy, like, that was when they started putting out, like, DVD compilations of, like, an entire series. So we would watch, like, an entire series of, we would, like, buy The Amazing Race, or this is before, like, Netflix and stuff. Or, I mean, no, Netflix was around, but you would, like, have 2 CDs, send them in, and then, do you remember? That's how I watched Saving Grace, actually. And then we would do like The Amazing Race, or we would do like, I think I had the original cycle of America's Next Top Model and things like that. We watched, he and I started watching Lost together. And then we would go to like the buffets. We went to this Forbidden City Chinese buffet in town here that was the bomb that ended up closing. We went out to eat a lot. Every other weekend we'd probably go down to visit his, you know, our friends in Seymour and his family and stuff. And then we went to the casino a lot. A lot. And yeah, I mean, we just ate a lot of food and sat around the house, and we took quite a few vacations, actually. Like twice a year we would take like a really, really nice vacation. We usually went somewhere in the summer around my birthday, and then his birthday was in the fall. And then we would take a trip like somewhere like in the winter. We would go somewhere. So usually like 3 trips a year, like really nice places. We went to St. Lucia together. We went to Antigua together. We went to a lot of places in the Caribbean together. Antigua, St. Lucia, Naples, Florida was, no, our first trip was the Beau Rivage in Biloxi, Mississippi. We drove there. That was our very first trip together. Las Vegas, I went to Las Vegas for the first time with him, and a bunch of people. So, yeah, but like I think people always think that there's like more to the story, like it's some horrible thing. It's just not. And Alex and my ex know each other. They're friendly towards each other. I know Alex's ex. I'm friendly with him. You know, like, we live in a civilized world. We're adult men. You know, there's no reason to be like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what kind of lives people live, but I don't live that kind of life. I try to, you know, be civil to people and treat people the way that I would want to be treated and things. It's very simple, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot to do all that. But anyway, I don't even know how I got into all of that. What I was talking about was that, when I was like thinking about the text messages between us, and I was like, I should read exactly what he said, but I won't, out of our business. It doesn't really matter what other people think anyway, you know? I'm trying to really get behind that. Oh, but what I was talking about was Tanya Jean, and it's gonna stop anyway, so I've got like 5 seconds, so give me just a second. Okay, what I was gonna say was, you know, I started getting so emotional thinking about Tanya, because I always do, like on my birthday or her birthday, but like, I think, oh, I know how I got, God, I fell down the rabbit hole, didn't I? I was talking about 25 years ago, and then I was talking about my mom, and then I was talking about my ex and everything, you know? With my mom, oh, no, not with my mom. With, you know, when I got sober, I don't know what I expected. I don't know what I thought that my life would look like. I really had no idea whatsoever, you know? I kind of remember being in treatment and thinking like, this huge weight was lifted off my shoulders, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna like go on without like, I couldn't imagine my life without drinking or using or anything. Like, I just couldn't imagine it, right? Whatsoever. And so I was scared. but I think kind of excited a little bit too of this new life, you know, that was being offered to me. And I don't know. Yeah, kind of excited, I guess. And I'm like really trying to put myself in my shoes, like when I got sober. You know, I remember the things that they would say, like in treatment. Well, in treatment, it was more like, these are the things you need to do. And then when I started going to meetings, it was like, more of like, these are the things you will receive if you stay sober. You know, so like when I was in treatment, it was like, you need to stay away from people, places, and things, okay, that you used to use around. And, you know, you need to set up a support system, you need to have a sponsor, you need to go to meetings, you need, which I think was hard for me too, because I'm just not a person that responds really well to, you need to do this, or you need to do that, or at least I didn't used to be. I think maybe I'm a little bit better than I used to be. But, you know, I just was not somebody that was great at responding to, you need to do this and you need to do that. Well, it definitely, I guess, wasn't in treatment that I heard anybody say this. So it must have been, you know, like meetings where I would go, and I don't know, like, you know, like it's so different thinking about myself then compared to now, because now I go into a meeting and I think to myself like, okay, I really hope that I'm able to A, give back this evening, you know, and B, receive a message that I need to hear on some level. I hope, you know what I mean? Like, I hope I'm open to the lesson, or that I'm able to be of service or help somebody else this evening. Or I just go into it and it's just a meeting and I think to myself like, okay, I'm just here for the meeting. Back then, I think like, I had my eye on the prize as far as like coins, you know, and well, keychains, because I was going to a couple different programs. So it was like, I wanted that 30 days. I wanted that 60 days. I wanted that 90, like that meant a lot to me, because I hadn't for a very long time consecutively strung days together. And I'm not talking just about dry time where I just am not using. I'm talking about going to meetings, having a sponsor, like doing the deal, right? Like I hadn't, A, not used for a long period of time, and B, I hadn't been like working the program, you know, for quite, you know, forever. And so, I mean, you know, okay, so anyway, so I can remember like how important it was to me to get those keychains, like it was, and those coins, it was really, really, really important to me. And then I remember when I got my 6-month token, and I can remember walking outside, because I got it at a meeting that I went to, where I went to treatment. It was like this alumni meeting. And I can remember walking outside, which is so sad that alumni meeting doesn't exist anymore, but I remember walking outside and being like it just kind of hit me, like when I walked outside, I was like, I can't believe that I just did this. And I kind of had thought, like, when I hit 6 months or a year, like once I had done that, I would try to drink a little bit again, like controlled drinking. You know, I would try to like maybe have a beer here and there. I could do that and nobody would have to know, right? But I didn't have that desire. It was weird. Like, they talk about the desire being lifted, right? And I wasn't, in all honesty, doing any kind of work for the desire to be lifted from me. I just wasn't. It just was like, you know, I mean, I was doing work, but I wasn't doing like hardcore intensive work, okay? My counseling sessions were kind of a joke. I was in aftercare, which my aftercare group was great. But I was actually just talking about this guy that I was really good friends with. I often don't remember him. Like, I forget about him. It's weird when you get older, you know, it's like, I've been talking a lot recently and saying like, oh, that was 30 years ago, or that was 25 years ago. Like 25, 30 years ago, you guys, is a really long time, okay? Like a really, really long time. You know, my mom passed away 11 years ago, so it's been 12 years ago, something like that, since my ex and I broke up. Like, even thinking about stories between he and I, 12 years. Okay, that's a period of time from somebody entering kindergarten or elementary school to graduating from high school. That's how long it's been. That was as long as it's been since I left my place of employment. Like, sometimes when I tell these stories, it feels like it was yesterday, but it's been 10, 15, 12, 20, 30 years or something. I mean, it's been a long time, you know? Which I also forget, like, that, you know, my husband and I being together, like, as long as we have, like, I don't know, it's just like they're separate lives, you know? I don't even know how to explain it. I'm not the same person that I was. Like, it's just, they're completely different periods of my life, you know? Which is, I think, why what I'm about to say is really important. If I ever get to it. So I don't remember, like, what people promised me or whatever, but I just remember that, like, getting that coin was so important to me. And I didn't even know how important it was going to be until after I got it. And then I was, like, standing outside, and I was like, this is, like, a really big deal. Like, this is a really, really big deal. To me. Because I've done something that I never thought I could. And this is why it's important, too, for, like, people that are, like, newcomers to get their coins. Because if I had seen somebody, I mean, I knew guys in meetings that had 20, 30, 40 years of sobriety, okay? I was like, first of all, they're gonna be dead when I have that kind of time. Second of all, like, whatever. I don't believe that they haven't had a beer in 25 years, you know? So I couldn't relate. But when I saw somebody get a 60-day token and I had 30 days, like, I wanted that. Like, and that was doable for me. You know, when somebody was getting 6 months or a year, like, that seemed to me like an Academy Award. Like, I was like, I want that year token. Like, I wanted to work so hard that I could get that, you know? And so I did. And I have to say, a lot of that was what kept me going for my first year. But, you know, like, they promised me a lot of things. I'm gonna get real emotional here talking about this. They promised me a lot of things. They promised me, you know, that relationships in my life would be repaired. And they were talking about family relationships when they said that. You know, and they talk about, you know, fear of financial insecurity. And they're not talking about having all the money in the world. What they're talking about is having enough, and what you have will get you by. And not being afraid that you can't take care of yourself. That's what they're talking about. You know, they talk about, we will cease fighting anyone and anything, you know? And these are called the promises. And so, I said to a friend of mine the other day, I said, I don't even know, like, can I even say something like the promises, you know, like in a video? And she was like, yeah, why couldn't you? And I said, well, I mean, I don't know, you know, it's like whatever. And she's like, you're not violating traditions. She's like, you're talking about something that's in a book that anybody can go buy at, you know, Barnes and Noble. She was like, it's not this, like, big secret that we keep. She was like, you know, I mean, anybody can Google this stuff online. So anyway, there are these things that are called the promises, and it's like, if you do these things, the 9-step promises, and if you do these things, then they will surely come to pass. Okay. So I knew that. Like, I knew that these, you know, like, if you work a program and you don't use, I was gonna say if you're a good boy, but, like, really, no, like, if you do the things you're supposed to do, then, like, these promises will take place, which they have over time for me. But I guess I need things more specifically drawn out, like, you and your dad will have a great relationship. You know, you will be able to be present when your mom passes. Like, you won't be afraid. Because I, like, in my head, I would come up with relapses. Like, well, if I ever get married, I'm having a glass of champagne. And if my mom or dad dies, I just can't handle that. That's too much. I'm gonna have to drink. And I had all these excuses for things that I would end up drinking over, which I've never, since I got sober in 25 years, felt the need to drink in any of those things. In fact, it has been just the opposite, which is so crazy when I look at my life, you know, that it's just completely the opposite has happened. That was the furthest thing from my mind, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, they're not listed specifically like that. I guess kind of they are, you know? But one of the things that it doesn't say on there is that you will receive the greatest friends you have ever had in your entire life that will be by your side, you know, through everything. And, don't know what my 25 years would look like without Tanya. I just don't even know what my life would look like without her in it, you know? Like, she's been with me through everything. And, oh, man. To have a best friend that I, you know, have so much fun with, and, you know, she's my ride or die, and yet we both speak the language of sobriety, and we're a year apart, you know? I met her when she had a year sober, so I've known her for 23 years, you know? I've been a part of her family for 23 years. She's been a part of mine. No, I just feel so blessed, you know? And she's taking a lot of shit, too, for my YouTube stuff, you know? She's taking a lot of shit. She doesn't anymore, but she just doesn't kind of like let it really get to her. But back in the day, you know, people would say like really some kind of cruel things about her, and it really kind of hurt her, I think. She gets it now though, like she understands it. She doesn't like it, but she gets it. She thinks it's cruel. She doesn't understand. Tanya's not somebody that understands cruelty very well. Like, she gets it, you know, that there are cruel people, but she doesn't understand it. Like, unsolicited cruelty. Like, a lot of with YouTube is like, this is how she sees it, kind of, and I'm just kind of making this up, but it's like, you know, if there's like, I don't know, just like, I don't know, you know, like there's this person over here and they're just like minding their own business, and then you just go over and like kick them in the leg for no reason. It's like, why? Like, why did you just do that? Like, for no reason whatsoever, right? Well, because I don't like them. Well, okay. But they didn't do anything to you. Like, she doesn't get that, right? Like, she totally doesn't understand that. But, you know, I have to say it's interesting because, like, I didn't really get it for a while, but like Tanya, Alex, and Valerie are definitely three people that are like this. Melissa and Jason too, but like I think it surprises Melissa and Jason, and it probably happens the most with them, is that, you know, like I am like nobody ever in public comes up to me and says anything. Okay, by the way, I don't know who you were, but I was at the post office like a week ago. I was actually on the phone with another YouTuber when it happened too, so it was really funny. But this woman came up to me, probably, I don't know, she's probably 5 years younger than me, something. Dressed very nice. And I'm like on the phone talking, right? And she comes up to me and she gives me like a hug and she goes, "I love your channels." And I was like, "Oh my God, thank you." And then she just kept on walking and she walked out the door. And I was like, who is this person? That was so nice to me. So if you're out there, thank you so much for that. It totally made my day. It like almost never happens. But it does seem like it happens when I'm with somebody else. Tanya is somebody that like really prompts it. Like if somebody comes up, she and Alex both are quick to ask the person if they want a picture. Which is, you know, I think embarrassing. Because they're always like, do you want a picture with him? Like, oh my God, it's, you know, Brad Pitt or something. People are always like, yeah, sure, I would love one. You know, they're really nice. But it's like, well, don't ask them that, you know. But Tanya will tell people. It's like, we'll be like in the gas station. And Valerie, they both say it the same way, Tanya and Valerie. They'll say, and there I am, you know, standing with my 89-cent fountain pop or whatever, and, you know, there'll be like these two girls that are like in college or something, you know, standing behind us, and Tanya will go, what are you guys doing? And it'll be like a Saturday night or something, right? And they'll be like, oh, we were just sitting at home, you know, watching Netflix, so we wanted to get some things. And then she'll be like, if we're like waiting in line, she'll be like, do you watch YouTube? And they'll go, yeah, we love YouTube, whatever. And she'll say, he makes YouTube videos. He has 5 channels. He's YouTube famous. And I'm like, oh my God, Tanya Jane. And she's like, what? It's the truth. You're YouTube famous. You say it yourself. And then they're always like, what's your name on YouTube? They always ask. And then it's like, this is what's so interesting to me. People always ask, these are the 2 questions they ask in. What's your YouTube name? How many subscribers do you have? They always want to know that, like in that order. And I always go, oh, I don't know. Like, that's what I always say. Where were we with my husband? And somebody was being like, he said something like he has millions or something. Where was that? I was like, Alex. But he's another one that, like, when people, like, he spots people. Like, he'll be like, oh my God, that person over there is, like, looking at you. And he'll be like, they'll come up and they'll be like, I love your video so much. And Alex is always like, he's real shy. He doesn't like to talk to people in public because he's real shy. I'm like, I'm not that shy. Let me talk for myself. Valerie, my God, we'll be up at the casino. She used to do this. She hasn't done it as much recently, but somebody will come up and she'll be like, he's YouTube famous. I'm like, Valerie, I'm about to get mad. And she'll be like, what? You're huge? And she just keeps it up and keeps it up, keeps it up. Of course, nobody at the casino, you know, because they're all like 60 and they spend their life at the casino drinking fountain pops and smoking one cigarette after another. None of them really know what YouTube is anyway, so it's not like any big thing. You know what's interesting is you would think, because I talk about going to the casino, that I would spot, like people would spot me at the casino, but that never happens. Have I ever been at the casino and somebody's come up to me? I feel like maybe it's happened like one time. It's always in the most random places. I remember like the very first time it ever happened, I was at Target. I totally remember this woman. I remember her name and everything, which is so funny. She was so nice, and I was like in the men's clothing section, and she was like behind a rack, like over here, and I just kind of happened to like, I was like looking at the shirt, and I was kind of like, and I happened to look up, and she was like, she did that, you know? And then like, I was like, oh, that's interesting. You know, I didn't think much about it. And then like, I was somewhere else, like, you know, in a different section, and I like look up and like, I'm like looking at some stuff and I kind of like, you know, turn to like walk away, and she's like right there, and she's like putting some stuff away or whatever, you know, acting busy. And it happened like 3 times. And then it was very discreet. And then she was like hanging behind this pole, and she was kind of looking at me. I'm making it sound like she was super strange, but she wasn't. She was so normal and nice, and she was so nice. She did ask me for a picture. Well, this is when people back in the day, they cared who I was. But anyway, so she came up to me and she goes, Peter Monn? And I go, yeah. And she goes, I love your channels. She was like, oh my God, I love you so much. And, of course, people always tell me that they found me from Trisha Paytas. That's what they always say. So she was like, can I have a picture with you? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. She was so nice. I actually saw her like 2 other times because I think she lives close to where I live. And then I was walking out of Barnes & Noble one day, and this girl, she like looked at me and she like winked, and I like was like smiling, and she goes, Peter likes books. And I was like, oh my God. It is funny to me, like when people come up to me, like how many people, and I think this should be a sign to people. Like I know people get down on, I'm gonna make sure what time I have. I know people get like discouraged. You know, I was talking to my friend Tanner Kearns the other day. He's a YouTuber, and I don't remember how we met. But it was like the year that I started out. I think I actually saw him because he did a video about like Trisha or something, because he like loves Trisha Paytas. But anyway, he reminds me, he back then reminded me of myself when I was his age. And so I started watching his videos, and then like I commented or something like that. And so he every once in a while called me up for advice, and I shouted him out in my video today and whatever. He's a super nice guy. And I'm so kind of happy for him, because he's getting close to graduating and college, and is in a relationship, moved in, is settling down, I'm like, he's getting everything that he wants. So he deserves that. He's a super nice guy. And so anyway, why was I talking about that? Shoot, what was I talking about? No, I totally forgot. Back in the day, Trisha Paytas. I can't believe that I totally forgot what I was talking about. But you know what? It's gonna stop here in 30 seconds anyway, so if I don't remember it by then, I'll just go back. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Okay, so I was talking to Tanner. Tanner's getting real discouraged because, you know, like, he considers himself a small creator, and he's proud of that and whatever. I think he has like 2,000 subscribers or something like that. But I was talking to him, and he was like, yeah, you know, I said, well, you said last time I talked to you that we hadn't talked in a couple months, but I was like, you had said something about like maybe quitting YouTube. He was like, I just don't know, you know, like, what's the point and whatever. And I'm like looking through his videos. I said, well, let me look through your videos. And I said, you know, you're getting still good views on your videos, like, you know, for your size and whatever. And he gets like, you know, 150, 200 views on some of his videos and whatever. Okay. Now, mind you, oh, it's gonna stop. Hold on. I knew it was gonna stop that time. Now, mind you, like, my Peterisms channel has, I don't know, 22,000 subscribers on it, and I probably, like, if I get 1,000 views a video, like, that's really huge for me, okay? My Peter Likes Books channel, likewise, has, like, 22,000 subscribers. If I got 1,000 views a video over there, I'd be so excited, okay? Which is, you know, you think about it, that's like 5% of your audience, is not even that, is watching your videos, you know? And then, you know, my review channel, I think I have, I don't know how many of you, but I get, you know, do better on there than I do in the other two. But I keep on pumping videos out on those channels. That Peterisms channel, I post videos on there on a regular basis. And this is the thing that's interesting about that Peterisms channel, is okay, so let's just say I have, what, I don't know, 22,000 subscribers on there. I think there's probably active, like, people that come and check it out on a regular basis, I would say 4,000 people, okay? So I think the other 22,000 people are probably, what is that, 18,000, 16,000 people? I think that's people that have kind of like subscribed over time when they saw my other videos, and they watched one and they liked it, but they forgot about it, or they're not getting the notifications because YouTube can't give anybody notifications for any of my videos, you know, on and on and on. That's a whole other thing. It's like on all my channels, like, the guy that like my YouTube manager guy was like, oh no, there is something wrong with your channel, and we're having engineers look at it, and it's been like, you know, months, and they still can't tell me why I just continue to lose subscribers, but there's something wrong with my channel. It's not me, is what I'm being told. Can you fix it, please? So anyway, you know, and at some point it's just like, make the videos, but like, I would like for the people that are subscribed to my channel to be able to remain subscribed to my channel, and if they are subscribed, and have the notifications turned on, to be notified that my videos are being made, which is really interesting about YouTube. And like, I love being on YouTube, I really, really do, and I don't complain a lot about it. But what's interesting is you're constantly sent these things to like take these classes to build your platform, and then they're constantly sending you these videos to watch to build your platform, and it's like, I appreciate all of that, and I'm willing to do all of that, but could you just allow me to keep the subscribers that I have, okay? Because you're already telling me, yeah, there's an engineering problem with your channel. So now could you go fix what that engineering problem is, so that I could, because I don't need the videos on how to build my channel, okay? I'm good right now where I'm at, but like, could you just help me with that? So anyway, it is what it is. But anyway, but this is what I would say to people that have smaller channels that get really, really discouraged, because I get a lot of people that say to me, oh, you know what? There was something I really wanted to talk on here about tonight. There are people that really get onto me about, I don't know. There are people that contact me about like their channel's not doing well, and they'll say like, you know, I only get 50 views a video or 100 views a video. Well, that's 50 or 100 people that you're affecting, you know? That's 50 or 100 people, a lot of which you might not have any clue who those people are. I don't know about you, but like people in my real life, they don't watch my videos. My husband does not sit around and watch my videos. People ask that all the time. They're like, does Alex watch your videos? No. He's like, no, I live with you. I hear this all day long. I don't need to watch a vlog of you like recapping what we just did for the last 24 hours. He's watched some of my vlogs, typically the ones that he's in. He watches some of my, like he'll do, like everybody in my life watches my review videos. I don't know why, like that's the one they watch. But this is what I would say to people that are smaller creators. Don't worry about how many, you know, subscribers you have. Like for me, okay, this is where I'm at. If I never gained another subscriber on any of my channels, I would be completely fine with that. What's frustrating to me, the only thing that's frustrating is how many messages I get from people that say that they were unsubscribed to my channels and that their notifications were turned off. Now that's frustrating to me because people that have invested their time in watching my channel no longer know that I'm posting videos. I mean, I've literally, when people know that I post videos every single day on many channels, come to me and they're like, oh, I thought you hadn't posted in like a month because I hadn't seen your videos. Like, that's frustrating to me. I also will say, like, I don't necessarily get it because I seek out the people that I watch, but you can't do that with everybody that you like, you know? But I would say this, if you're a smaller channel, don't get frustrated about it. You know, like, do it because you love it, and then keep doing it because you love it. And even if you just affect one person, you know? So, when I go out and people stop me, it's like 99% of the time over that Peterisms channel. I mean, in all honesty, it's that channel. I was in Connecticut for a, what do you call it? For Alex's, like, this work thing last year. Remember when we went there in the summer in July? I loved it. We had such a great time. And I, like, went to the next town up to get coffee at Starbucks. I couldn't find a Starbucks by us. And this girl stops me in the Starbucks in Connecticut, out in the middle of nowhere. And she was like, oh my God, Peter Monn. And I was like, oh yeah, how are you? And she's like, I watch your Peterisms channel every single day. And I was like, oh, you do? Do you watch any other channels? She's like, I mean, sometimes, but mostly it's just a Peterisms channel. She started crying in the Starbucks and she looked at me and she goes, please do not ever stop making videos on that channel. If you had any idea how much that channel got me through things, I'm literally reading meditations on a book and talking about it, from a book and talking about it, okay? It's not deep over there. I mean, it's not like it's this huge creative force that goes into it. And she was like, if you knew how much you have got me through just by doing those videos, it means so much to me. I don't even know that she watches those videos anymore, right? But on days that I'm like tired or I'm like, okay, like, I need to sit down and do this, but you know, I just don't want to pull out the ring light and all that kind of stuff. She gets me through those days because I always think of her saying that, and I think there's probably somebody out there today that will get something out of this video. If not me, because I usually get a lot out of doing those Peterisms videos, you know? So even if you only affect one person, and I want to tell you this story. So, you know, I screwed around on YouTube before I ever sat down and like made my Peter Likes Books channel and committed to posting on it on a regular basis, okay? That was May 11th of 2016. Now that summer, I had already had that Peter Monn channel, but that summer I started posting videos over there, and then September 1st was my very first drama video that I did over there. And then I started posting videos consistently on the Peter Monn channel. And then I had my Peterisms channel, which before that was called My So-Called Healthy Life. This is important because I had started that channel probably 3 years before that, And I also did videos at one point, which were just, you know, whatever. So, oh, and I have my blogs that I wrote on. So, and then I was also like a Huffington Post guest blogger. So, through all of that, I got this guy back in the day, okay? And then I started my vlog channel, and then that was 3 years ago, and then a year ago, I started my review channel. So, coming up on 2 years this fall. So, let's say 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Well, what is it? 2020, because it was before my book came out. So my book came out in July of 2014, so it would have been like before that. So 6, 7 years ago. I started noticing that on Facebook and on my blogs, this person would comment all the time, okay? I didn't know anything about them. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know why they were commenting on my videos. Or on my, I didn't have videos at the time, just stupid ones. I didn't know why they were commenting on my stuff. And it kind of freaked me out, in all honesty. Because I didn't know them. And this is way before, you know, social media, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. I didn't know this person. So it kind of freaked me out a little bit. So, I can't remember what happened. I posted something on Facebook. You know, back in the day, I would accept anybody as a friend on Facebook. I don't accept, unless I know you in my personal life, I don't accept you as a friend on Facebook. And I know people get upset about that because people are so serious about the Facebook, but let me tell you what happened. So, when I first got on YouTube and I was getting, you know, like 10 friend requests a day. I mean, it's ridiculous, you guys, now. Like, I didn't realize so many people were on the Facebook. I get like hundreds of friend requests every single day because I'm so popular. No, but when I first got on there, I'd get like 20 a day, and I just accept them all. I thought, oh, these people are so nice. They want to be my friend on Facebook. So one day, I'm talking to, one day I'm like doing something. I can't remember what it was. And Melissa called me, and she said, there is some chick that is going on each of your posts on Facebook, and she's like going off. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I got on there, and this woman, she, like, I had accepted her friendship on Facebook, and she got on there. I mean, literally every post was like, you effing, F-A, you know, that word, you know, God's gonna come and strike you down. It was horrible. It was horrible stuff. So I'd go in there and block her and get rid of her, and I just thought at that point, I'm not doing this anymore. I got it, you know, it is what it is. So I got enough social media out there. If people want to follow me, they can follow me, but I'm not dealing with that anymore. So those people that got in before that, they got in, right? Well, so he was one of the people back in the day, this guy, right? And I didn't know anything about him. I don't know that I've ever told this story on here before. Now, mind you, okay, when he found me, it was because of like one video that I had put out, because I was doing on my so-called Healthy Life channel, at one point I was doing a raw foods diet, and I was running for like the month of November. Okay, that was like 5 years ago. He still does a raw foods diet and runs every single day, okay? Marathons. So, he's commenting and whatever. And he said something about, like, being a fanboy or something like that on my channel. And or on my blogs. Like, I read he said something, and I said something back about it, right? And I was like, this is kind of weird. So I went to his Facebook. I said something to him. I said, like, yeah, like I said, you're like the ultimate fanboy because you like all of my stuff or whatever, right? And he was like my age, you know, so I was like, I don't know, this is weird, you know, that. So I go to his page, and I'm like going through his Facebook page, and I'm like reading it, and I'm like, I was like, okay, this is what's going on here. So I keep on reading. I'm like, and very honest on his Facebook page about being a female to male, being transgender, and getting his name changed and the gender changed on his driver's license, and it was like this huge deal, and I'm reading it through, and then I'm like really worried that I had misgendered him because I had said gay boy and all this kind of, or fanboy and all this kind of stuff, and which is so funny that that term was even what started this whole thing, because I don't think we would have ever started talking had I not reached out to him, because then I reached out because I felt bad, right? And so I mean, he's literally like 5 years younger than me, okay? Maybe 3 years younger than me. So I reach out and I'm like, I don't, like, because I couldn't really tell from the pictures, because the pictures were so, like, there would be like, his pictures were like pictures of like a dog. There's a lot of pictures of this dog, okay? And I, you know, of course I was posting pictures of dogs, so he knew, you know, he would like make comments about pee-pee and things like that. So anyway, it just was like this. So anyway, I reached out to him and I was like, I'm really worried. Like, I feel like I misgendered you, blah, 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 whatever. He was like, oh my God, no, not at all. He was like, the fact that you called me like a fan, you know, a fanboy, like that meant so much to me, because like, I don't like often, and this was towards the beginning of, you know, his transition, but he was like, people don't often like use those pronouns with me and not know the difference. And it meant like so much to me. I was telling my mom, I was telling my sister, and all this kind of stuff. So we started this incredible friendship that has lasted all this time. Okay, we've never met, but we had Skyped and all this kind of stuff. We've started this incredible friendship. He and I live very different lives. He lives literally out in the middle of nowhere, okay? Like, I mean, out in the middle of nowhere. Out. His idea of a dream vacation is, you know, to take his dog and go hiking in, you know, the Grand Canyon or the Rockies or something, right? He's so into fitness and working out and all this kind of stuff. It's crazy. It's like, God, if I had just kept it up, you know? So I got done vlogging last night, and I was driving around, and I was listening to some stuff on my, you know, my phone, podcasts and all this kind of stuff. And he was so sweet. He was like, you know, after PP passed and I had put it out, he was like one of the first people to contact me. It's so weird, you know, like we've been good friends for so long, and he reached out to me last night. I felt so like just gutted for him. And his dog, who had been sick, passed away last night unexpectedly. And like he had just been to the vet the day before, and I just read like the updates, and he had another appointment scheduled on Monday. I just felt so bad for him. You know, and we were like talking, and he said, and you know, of course I'm like, you know, I'm so sorry, I wish I didn't know what you were going through. You know, he's like, oh my God. He was like, you know, we're both kind of like this emotional mess through the whole thing. And he said, you know, he goes, well, at least, you know, like now, you know, he'll be with Pee-Pee and they'll have each other and they won't be so alone. And I was like, I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to say that because I didn't want to make it about me. I didn't want it to sound, you know, like weird. He was like, oh my God, no. He was like, you know, he's been such a fantastic friend. And I just honestly, I don't like, at times where YouTube has just been too much sometimes, you know, like not recently at all, but like I would say, you know, a couple years ago, and year ago. Just when it's been a lot, you know? I think about him, and I think about that I met him through social media, and he's followed everything that I do. He doesn't watch my videos. Like, I think he watches like a Peterisms video every once in a while or something like that, but very rarely does he watch my videos anymore. But I think, you know, two people that would never have met. By the way, I don't refer to him as a fanboy anymore, and I haven't in years. But two people that wouldn't have met otherwise, you know. I think, I never expected that. I never expected when I started blogging, or I started, you know, like, I have artwork that he has sent me in our house, you know. I never expected to, like, make a really good friend through this online stuff. And the reality is, I've met some very, very good friends. You know, we want to talk about friendships that, like, go awry online, right? Well, I've had my fair share of friendships that have, you know, gone south, so to speak, with people that I have. I mean, I don't think that's a mystery to anybody, you know, that I've had friendships with people and now I'm not friends with them anymore. For reasons that were my part, their part, whatever. All I can do is look at my part in it. But what I will tell you is this. When I look at those friendships, there's not one of those friendships, and I mean this 100%, that I would ever have traded in for not having the experience. Like, I wouldn't go back and not have had the friendship for having to go through the pain. I just wouldn't do that. I mean, some of those friendships were just, like, amazing, you know? And I'm sad that they ended the way that they did, but, like, that's life. You know, not all friendships stay around forever. But, like, at the time, like, they were amazing, you know? So maybe you have 300 subscribers on YouTube, or maybe you have 50. Maybe that one out of that 50 is supposed to be somebody who needs your videos every day. Maybe that one out of 50 is somebody that you're going to meet down the road, and they're going to be a friend that you communicate back and forth with. It's like, if you ever saw the movie, I love the movie, I can't think of his name now, the guy from Silence of the Lambs, and it's not Anne Bancroft, is that her name? I think it is Anne Bancroft, actually. But 84 Charing Cross Road, and it's about a woman that's looking for a book because she's a book collector. And so she's from the United States, and she works in radio, and it takes place like in the 30s or 40s. And she contacts this guy that owns a rare bookshop, Anthony Hopkins. And she contacts him in the UK, in London. And the whole movie is all their letters back and forth over the period of like 30 years. It's one of those movies that I always think I need to go back and watch, and I haven't watched in forever. It's like I was talking about Educating Rita to Tanya the other night. I love that movie so much. Educating Rita, if you've never seen it, you have to see it. You have to see the movie Educating Rita. But, you know, the woman that stars in that plays Rita, she's actually, what's his name? Ron Weasley's mother in the Harry Potter movies. I can't think of her name, but she's so good. Julie something. You don't know. I mean, like, there's this woman that she comments on my vlogs every single night, okay? Karen. And Karen always says, hello, waving, because when I drive by where she lives, which I know exactly where she lives, because she's said in a comment before where she lives, I know exactly like the neighborhood that she lives in. So whenever I drive, I said it like, I don't know, a year ago in a vlog, and she still remembers. Like when I'm driving by, I'm like, she's waving at me, right? So if you see her in the comment section, she'll say hello waving or hi waving. I even think that her like profile picture is like an orange something, but anyway, I know the day is gonna come when I'm like at a grocery store or Taco Bell or whatever, and Karen comes up to me and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm finally meeting you. Like, I know that day is gonna come, right? So it's like, I mean, there are so many people. I get comments all the time that people are like, I live in Indianapolis, I can't believe I've never run into you. And I'm like, yeah, I can't believe it either, you know? So you don't know who you're going to affect with your channel. If you're a smaller creator or whatever you're doing, like, I don't even think it has anything to do with being a smaller creator. I don't think it has anything to do with being a YouTuber or a blogger or whatever. I think it has to do just with what you're doing in this world. You know, do it with passion. Do it because you love it. Do it because it feels right in your heart. And you're affecting people out there by it. There's this woman that works at this Meijer out here by me. Okay, I'm telling you, she's the happiest woman I've ever seen in my entire life. When you go through the door, she is like so happy. Like, you walk in there, I don't care how pissed off you are. There's no way to walk in there and be pissed off and come out pissed off, because she's so happy. It's gonna stop. I can't believe I'm at the end. Hold on a second. Okay. And I think about that, you know, it's like, I said I wasn't gonna vlog forever, now I've gone over an hour. But you know, we all have the choice in like how to be in the world. And it's not just about being happy, it's about like doing whatever you do and doing it like 100%, you know? It's like, so if you work in a floral shop, you know, doing a little bit of extra to this, or, I mean, it's all about, have you ever had like, I don't know, have you ever known people that like whatever they do like a little bit extra? Like, they didn't have to, but they do. And it's like, I don't know, I love that, you know? I love that people that just, like, they go the extra mile just because they want to. You can just tell that they're passionate about it, you know? They don't have to, you know? But they do it because they love it, you know? I don't know. Anyway. Are you guys watching the Super Bowl, or are you watching me? If I beat out the Super Bowl for somebody, can you put it in the comment section? I will find that so comical. Touchdown! So anyway, I'm gonna get off here now. I was just thinking, like, what are areas of my life that I could put, like, more passion into, you know? Definitely not reading books, because I read 9 books in the month of January. I'm so proud of myself. So anyway, I'm gonna get off here now, and I love you guys, and I hope you're having an amazing Sunday. If you're not watching the Super Bowl, because who'd care, do something fun today. Have brunch. Well, this will be over by the time you're watching this, brunch is over. Order a late night snack from, I don't know, I was gonna say Pizza Hut or Taco Bell, or is Pizza Hut even around anymore? Or whatever, eat some ice cream, read a book. You know, the spiel, okay? The spiel that I say every night. Do something that'll make yourself proud 5 years from now. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at it's going foggy now that I'm saying that. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you say, God, come on, don't do this. It's going out of focus as I'm ending this. I love you. You are valuable. You are important. You matter. You are worthy. You are beautiful. 2020 is your year, and today is going to be a fantastic day. And most importantly, make sure that you pass it on to somebody else and let them know how important they are to you. Look at me. I'm like a cloud. I'm so foggy. Anyway, let somebody know how important they are to you. Do some random acts of kindness today. Pass on the good. Surround yourself with positivity and love. Speak from the point of love, the language of love. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.